A West Virginia state trooper shot on the job.
I seen the policeman hold his gun out and tell the man, he said, "Put the gun down, sir." The next thing you know, bam, 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 and shots was fired, and it got real quiet.
Tonight, the man accused of shooting that officer is charged with a string of crimes after a 5-hour standoff.
What we hope is just that when our troopers or when other officers respond to a critical incident, that they revert back to their training and experience.
And the trooper is in the hospital after driving himself for miles to an ambulance. Now at 5, we have continuing coverage. This all started with a domestic call in the Midway area of Lincoln County around 2:15 this morning. We have team coverage right now. We begin with Eyewitness News reporter Kaylee Gunderson. She's live at the hospital with an update on the trooper's condition and how the events unfolded this morning. Kaylee?
Callie, here's what we know so far. Corporal David Fry is in serious but stable condition here at CAMC General after suffering injuries to his wrist, shoulder, and leg. Corporal Fry is part of the Hamlin detachment. He had surgery this morning, but state troopers tell us the injury to his wrist is serious and he is going to need more surgery down the road. And we're told he is facing a long road to recovery. Jeremiah Yeager is the man accused of shooting Corporal David Fry when he responded to a domestic violence call at an apartment complex in the Alum Creek area. According to the criminal complaint, Yeager fired 2 shots at Fry immediately after he entered the apartment, a situation Lieutenant Mike Bayless says there was no way to see coming.
We always go into a situation trying to de-escalate it. We never want to escalate a situation, but oftentimes it depends on the suspect or the subject we're dealing with, and it's beyond our control.
Police say the trooper was able to make it to his car and drove himself several miles to the Southridge Walmart, where an ambulance took him to the hospital.
We train our troopers to respond and to continue to fight through a critical incident. And he did just that. He continued on.
When police, sheriff's deputies, and first responders arrived, they surrounded the apartment complex. After a 5-hour standoff with Yeager, authorities were able to get a robot inside the building and communicate with Yeager, who ultimately surrendered.
They went in there, courageously performed their job, and fortunately, with the exception of our one trooper who's going to be in the hospital for a little while, everybody else is going home safely to their families this evening.
As for the victim of the domestic violence call, Lisa Pauley told police earlier in the night Yeager had showed up to her apartment high on meth and choked her with a telephone cord until she passed out. Pauley told police when she woke up, Yeager pointed a gun in her face, struck her with it several times, and threatened to kill her. That's when Corporal Fry came through the door, giving Pauley the chance to get away.
He didn't give up and quit right in the heat of battle.
Jeremiah Yeager now faces a string of charges, including attempted murder, domestic assault, and malicious wounding. Lisa Pauley was taken to the hospital and did not suffer any life-threatening injuries, but she did have blunt force trauma to the head. As for Yeager's injuries, we're not sure about those just yet, but we'll of course continue to keep you updated as we learn more on the investigation. Live in Charleston, Kaylee Gunderson, Eyewitness News.
People who live in the apartments where that shooting happened were quickly moved out of that building during the standoff. Eyewitness News reporter Bob Aaron talked to a witness there who saw it all unfold. Bob?
It has been a very rough day for the folks who live in this apartment building, and it's not over yet. The police are gone, but if you look behind me, you'll see several of the tenants standing out in the parking lot here. They cannot get back into their apartment areas until some of the gore from this shootout is cleaned up. It was a very rough night, which what started out as a domestic disturbance and then quickly escalated to gunfire. People in the apartment building saw the trooper trying to talk down the man with a gun, and eventually shots were fired. It was a very frightening night. How scary was the whole night?
Was super scary because all of a sudden, like you're hearing, you were in bed, you're hearing like shooting in your building, and after that they cut the power.
Now, That man we just interviewed with had to go out a second-story window. The other people had to come out a staircase out here in the back, which took them basically past the apartment where the gunman was holed up in. So it was a rough and dangerous night for them. Everybody got out okay with the help of the police, but some of them are still not back in. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll talk with more of the people who lived here in this apartment building and what they saw and heard as gunfire wounded a state trooper here and led to the arrest of a man and the injury of a woman. We'll have more for you at 6 o'clock live.
All right, thank you, Bob. Domestic violence calls are one of the more dangerous calls for law enforcement officers because those situations can quickly escalate into life-threatening events, as we saw here overnight. Eyewitness News reporter Gil McClanahan is at the Carroll County Sheriff's Office tonight to put this danger into perspective. Gil?
Well, Callie, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most dangerous, Carroll County Sheriff Chuck Zirkle says domestic violence calls he puts them at an 8, pushing 10. And the reason for that is these types of calls are unpredictable, where anything can happen. Sergeant Bob McQuaid of the Carroll County Sheriff's Department has responded to thousands of domestic violence situations over his 30-year career. When he gets that call, he makes a mental note of if he has been there before, realizing the potential danger that may be ahead.
I think everyone at some point in time or another has felt a threat that they couldn't describe. For example, the hair on your neck stands up for some reason, you may get a cold chill, and you just feel that something is not right in that situation.
McQuaid says that doesn't happen every time, but when it does, he listens to his internal senses based on his law enforcement training to deal with domestic violence incidents.
It's the one that you're not familiar with, that comes out of the blue, especially if it comes in that there may be a weapon involved, that you get a little stressed.
You just don't know what to expect in these situations.
Carroll County Sheriff Chuck Zirkle says that's what makes domestic violence calls so dangerous. Something has triggered the event, and stress is making it worse.
The people have called. They know you're coming. They know what maybe the outcome is, so they are ready. So you're basically you're showing up to an ambush.
Now, the trooper in this case was by himself, and unfortunately that is the case for many county sheriff's departments. It's an added danger because some domestic violence calls take place in rural areas. Now, if backup arrives, not only does that help protect the deputy, but Sheriff Zirkle says it's also an extra added show of force that in some cases can calm the situation down. Live here in Carroll County, Gil McClanahan, Eyewitness News.
And now the last time a trooper was shot in our area was back in 2012. 2 were killed in the line of duty in Clay County. Trooper Eric Workman and Corporal Marshall Bailey had stopped a vehicle for reckless driving at the Wallback Park and Ride in Clay County. They called for a wrecker to tow the truck, and when that wrecker service got there, they found both of those troopers shot. The suspect, Luke Baber, later got into a shootout with other law enforcement agencies and was killed. We will continue to have more on this story as it develops throughout the night and into the coming days over on our website, WCHS-TV.com. And you can also keep up to date on your smartphone. Just search WCHS in your app store. And right now, breaking news from the White House. President Trump has signed an executive order directing the Environmental Protection Agency to review the Clean Power Plan. That order rescinds the moratorium on coal mining on U.S. federal lands and urges federal agencies to identify all regulations, all rules, and all policies. The White House says it's a first step in rolling back the Obama-era climate rules. Coming up in just about 5 minutes, the director for the EPA will join us live to talk about what this means for West Virginia's coal jobs.
Switching gears now, it rained a little this afternoon. More could fall this evening. Jim Barrick is here now to let us know when we can expect that rain. Jim?
Yes, we've got some scattered showers out about right now. They're getting a little bit of sunshine punching through the clouds, but we did have some pretty good rain during the overnight. As we take a look at our satellite and radar view, notice that right around Ripley down through about Portsmouth, we see the back edge of that line of showers. That's where that cold front is, and it's going to be pushing through the Charleston area about another hour, 2 hours, and so right around 7 o'clock, we should see the end of the showers, and they'll be moving down from the north to the south. south. So to the south, it'll take a little bit longer to have those showers move out of the region. So here's what we're looking for tonight. 62 degrees at 7 o'clock with some scattered showers still around from about I-64 south. 60 degrees at 9. When our late news comes on at 11, it'll be at 57. And when you head out the door tomorrow, man, not too bad. 48 degrees, cloudy skies. It should be dry. I'll let you know what you can expect for the rest of the day and when we will see some showers coming back. That's in my forecast, and I'll have that up in just a little bit.
Flanked by coal miners, President Trump rolling back Obama-era environmental orders. Could this be the key to reviving coal country? The EPA administrator joins us live next.
It has been 2 weeks since a Tennessee teenager disappeared with her teacher, where investigators are now extending that search.
At the Capitol today, a busy day for both the House and Senate working to pass bills before tomorrow's crossover day deadline. House Finance Committee Chair Eric Nelson presented a partial budget proposal which would have ended a $5 million film industry tax credit for working in the state. It would raise the beer barrel tax from $5.30 to $8. A barrel is 31 gallons, and it would have moved $11.7 million from general revenue to the road fund. But a majority of delegates said no.
We talk so much about bringing jobs in and jobs bills. This is anti-jobs. These jobs will leave the Eastern Panhandle, and I'm sure there are movies and TV shows being filmed in your areas as well.
Some members in my party seem like they'd like to take us back to the 1920s and early 1930s as prohibitionists. It's not our job to pick and choose which legal products to tax. That's called the nanny state. It's called free enterprise. That's what we're supposed to embrace.
The film tax credit and beer barrel tax proposal are both pieces of the larger plan to balance the state's budget. With this bill's failure, lawmakers who have already signed off on the House's budget measure will now have to find other ways to fill those budget holes. New details on a teen's plot to bomb her school, what led investigators to her home, and what classmates had to say about her.
And a bit of a cloudy day out there today. Temperatures still pretty nice now, though, but rain returns as we head into the night. Your full forecast is up next.
Team Weather, brought to you by the Dutch Miller Automotive Group.
And it's a cloudy day, but we're seeing a little sunshine punching through as we look out at the East End Bridge in Huntington on our storm cam live atop St. Mary's Medical Center. A few showers still out there, but those showers are going to be ending this evening. It's going to be cloudy for tomorrow for the most part. We should be dry, though, and then a little warmer on Thursday. But as we go into Thursday, we're looking for the potential for some, it's not going to come up. Okay, well, we are looking for some storms coming in as we go through Thursday, but that's going to be late in the day. And so we'll have a better chance of storms on Friday. Our live Doppler radar, we've got showers scattered around. And notice right back up to the north around the Ripley area down through Portsmouth, we have a line of showers, and that is where the front is. So that's kind of the back edge of these showers, and it's moving down to the south. So we're going to zoom in on that. We'll put a little tracker on that line since it is holding together, and it should be into Ripley very soon at about another 10 minutes or so, and then to Fraser's Bottom 5:58, Winfield by 6:08. So by the time we get to about 7 o'clock, it should all be through the Charleston area, and then things will be drying out after that. As we take a look at our temperatures, still very mild despite the fact we didn't have that much sunshine today. Charleston 67, Huntington 64, Snowshoe almost 50. That's pretty good for March. And we've got Portsmouth 64, Athens at 61 right now. Logan, you're at 59. We'll put this into motion now. Our satellite and radar view. Notice we got a lot of cloud cover, but we do see some pokes of sunshine through there. So a little bit of sun making its way through. And there is that back edge of that cold front. And so that's where the showers are. Behind that, we see dry conditions into southern Ohio. So southern Ohio, you're already done with the rain. As we go through tonight, that cold front is going to be dragging down towards the south. So a couple of showers possible late into the extreme southern part of the viewing area. Then as we go into tomorrow, we'll start out with some fog, and then we'll end up with some sunshine later in the day. By the time we get in the afternoon, it should be pretty pleasant. Mostly cloudy skies, we'll say. Then as we go into Thursday, we've got another little system coming in here. I think we should be mostly dry on Thursday. This shows a couple showers coming in by about noontime. But for the most part, I think we should stay dry until the evening hours, and then we have a better chance of rain coming in on Friday after this little trough of low pressure makes its way through. 47 for tonight, cloudy skies. Then for tomorrow, we're going to be looking for 64 degrees for the high, mostly cloudy and dry. So we'll have some sunshine, especially during the afternoon. Winds out of the northeast, 5 miles an hour. And if we just take a look ahead at the weekend, Friday, some storms. 68 for the high, a little cooler Saturday behind a front, so we'll drop to 65, which is still very mild for this time of year, and then 70 on Sunday with partly cloudy skies. So it should be a pretty pleasant weekend overall. And I'll be back to talk more about the weekend and when we have a better chance of seeing some rain showers coming in here. That's in my next forecast in just a few minutes.
New details now at 5. We're learning more about an alleged plot to kill fellow students in a Maryland high school. Police say Nicole Savaria was planning a massacre at her school. The 18-year-old's father found her diary where she apparently outlined a Columbine-style attack in detail. He called police. Now Savaria's friends are speaking out, saying they knew she had trouble expressing herself, but never expected this. Some of them did not want to be identified.
It was really unexpected. It was really real. She was a beautiful, caring person that literally cried at the thought of hurting anyone.
Now police say there's no evidence of anyone else being involved in this plot, but they are still trying to determine a motive. That young student was committed for an emergency mental health evaluation.
A little boy donates his prized possession to some police officers who lost one of their own. What he sacrificed to put a smile on their faces.
In tonight's Social Stew, a 7-year-old boy in Wisconsin has a pretty huge heart.
The cute kiddo gave up his most prized possession to try to help police officers cope with the loss of one of their own. Detective Jason Weiland was killed while responding to a shooting in Weston. He spent 18 years in law enforcement, all in the same area.
Yeah, so Brady felt sad and wrote a letter to the department before giving his gaming system to officers he knew needed it most. It's now set up there at the police department where the officers can take a break, play some video games, and de-stress a little bit. The officers also invited Brady to come play Wii with them at the department just yesterday. I'm sure he loved that. Well, check this out. A team of scientists transformed spinach leaves into beating heart tissue. Researchers at Worcester Polytechnic Institute in Massachusetts say they first used detergent to strip the spinach leaves of their cells, turning them translucent, and then they seeded those spinach veins with human heart tissue.
After several days, the muscle cells began to beat. You can see the cell move as the red liquid courses through the spinach veins. The liquid is dye, not blood. Scientists hope their research could someday help treat heart attack patients. Well, if you have any super pics or videos, of course, you know we love getting those. You can always upload your pictures to burst.com/WCHS-TV, Facebook, Twitter, or email. You could see your pics pop up here.